Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here with a quick review for Power Book 2, Season 1, Episode 1, The Stranger. I know, when Power ended, with James St. Patrick being gone, dead and gone, and Tariq having shot him, and Tasha in jail for it now, I was like, I'm not doing book 2. I'm not doing book 2. But then quarantine happened. And then today's the last episode of season 1 of P Valley. So here we are. It wasn't a bad episode. I think it was beautifully shot. I was more impressed with like the first 10-15 minutes of the episode than I was with the last little bit of the episode, the last like 45 minutes. Only because the last 45 minutes was giving us more of original Power, where they was people going back and forth and double talking and not sharing, and like it's this whole confused mess. But first part of the episode really good. But let's get into it. Okay, so Tariq is at Stansfield University, and this is because Tasha promised Stern truth. If he could have truth flat out if he would get Tariq into Stansfield. Now, James, when he died, he left the entirety of his estate to Tariq, but he couldn't get it until he completed 4 years of college. And so this is why Stansfield is important. I mean, Tasha want him to have his education too, but they need to get their hands on this money, or like it's going to be difficult to take care of everyone without this money, right? So he is at Stansfield, and we see that he's getting up for the day, and he's got a meeting with Stern and I think the headmaster or professor, the president, I guess, of Stansfield. And he's also headed down to Tasha's arraignment. When he gets to the steps of the courthouse, we get to see his grandmother, and we get to see Jasmine. And Jasmine is miraculously like 10, 11 now. I mean, and his grandmama look good. We also get to see T-Wash, who is Tamika Washington, from the original Power series. As we know, she was like the head of the DA's office, and she left to go into the private sector. And she looks really good. She looks really good. Whoever's doing her wardrobe and her hair is doing a really good job. Like, I was this close to thinking about going and see if I can find me Michelle Obama wig, but she looks really good. And his grandmother wanted him to come live with them. Come and live with me. He was like, no, I gotta finish school. And she was like, you need to be with us right now. You need to be with family right now. He was like, Grandma, I'm trying to finish school so I can, take care of you guys. And so we see where Tamika walks up and introduces herself to everyone and says she's Tasha's attorney. And she says Tasha wants to plead out, self-defense. And Tariq doesn't want his mama to do that. He was like, no, wait, no, that's not what I want. He said, your mama's made up her mind, Tariq. I just gotta, right now she needs everybody rallying around her so we can get this thing done. And so we see where Tariq learns, he gets back in time. Most of this episode he is running through the campus, through downtown. He's just trying to keep up with his schedule. He got a lot of irons in the fire, and as we go through this episode, we can see the irons starting to really stack up. So he's running everywhere. Now he's beating it across campus because he had to meet Stern. and the president of the university. And when he gets there, they let him know not only is being punctual key, but also it's not just like a free ride while you're here. You're gonna have to tutor um this dude. I think he like the head of their basketball team or something. He's like a basketball star or something like that. Ezekiel Cross. You got to tutor Ezekiel Cross. And Tariq want to know which subject. They was like all of them. If he don't pass, then you don't stay. Like him passing is your payment for staying in this university. And everybody kind of reminds him of what he's been through and what's going on in his family with his father being dead and his mama being in jail for killing his daddy. And while they empathize at the same time, Tariq really is trying to put all of that behind him. Outside of trying to get his mama out of jail, he really don't want to talk about it. Like, he really don't want to discuss it. And so he's got to not only tutor this guy, but he got to move into the dude's dorm. So he got to move out of his dorm and move into Ezekiel's dorm, which you all know we're going to call him Zeke. So then we see where Tariq is looking at a map and trying to figure out where he's supposed to be. And this chick walks up behind him and was like, well, can I help you find something? And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to find, this hall. And the girl's like, oh, I'm headed that way. I'll take you that way. And they're walking and they're talking. And she asks him who is his advisor. And he says, I think her name is Caridad or Curidad, something like that. Milgram. And she's the counselor. She's the counselor to just about all the freshmen. And Lauren kind of gives him a little bit of a lowdown as to, what's, how to play it there. And it's not a lot of black kids. And so they kind of have to stick together, except there's this one black kid who's not real copacetic with all the other black kids. But I'm sure we're going to see that in the near future. So, again, she is kind of typical, fair skin, pretty girl, smart, sassy, just pretty standard, right? So when he gets in and he meets with Counselor Milgram, and she wants to try to talk to him and empathize him and get him to talk a little bit and share his feelings and help him through. And Tariq is not here for that. He's not here for any of that. One, because he's already learned, trust no one. Trust no one. Like, anybody could be a narc or undercover, or like, he still has got to keep everything real close to his breast. And we see him using the skills he learned from Kanan, and we see him using the skills he learned from Ghost. All right. So he also has done his research, and he wants to take conical studies, which I think, anyway, conical studies. But it's a verbal entrance exam. So he's got to read this book and then take like a verbal exam in front of the head of conical studies, as well as his counselor, Miss Milgram, and this other dude that's the head over, that's in charge of teaching conical studies. And so we cut back to Tasha, and Tasha's been given a hard time while she was in federal custody, but now the county's got her, so she's going before like a local judge. And she goes before the local judge, and Tamika is there talking on her behalf, and she's got everybody behind her, Mom, Tariq, and Jasmine. And Tamika sort of lays it on thick, and ultimately, after some back and forth, Tamika is able to get Tasha 4 years probation, no jail time. It's a sweet deal. It's a sweet deal. And when she has to go through allocution, and when she goes through allocution, she has to tell the truth of what really happened in order to get this deal, which includes telling who helped her find out James will be there alone. They don't think it was Quentin because she kind of set Quentin up as her alibi after the fact, right? So don't lie and say that it was Quentin. And she's not telling. She's not telling. And Tamika's like, well, if you're not gonna tell me, then I can't help you. I can't help you. I can't be your lawyer. Like, this isn't gonna work. I'm not gonna have you stand up there and lie because it's gonna put my license in jeopardy too. And Tasha tells her she fired. You can go then. If it means me telling on my son, I'm not doing it. And she wasn't giving no kind of name up. She wasn't even making nothing up, right? Like, she kind of tried to, but Tamika was seeing through all of that. So then we see where when Tamika leaves there, she calls Tariq, and she tells Tariq that he got to get his mama a new lawyer because she wasn't gonna put her job on the line. And the mama was lying, Tasha's lying, and she won't tell me who really helped her. And so Tariq already kind of got somebody in mind. I can't think of the name of the character right now, but it's played by Method Man. He's supposed to be like this really, really great attorney. And he represents a lot of people that are kind of unsavory, but he's pretty successful at what it is he does. So Tariq confronts him, sees him coming out of court, and he says, I need you to help my mom. I want you to help my mom. He was like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. You ain't even got enough money to pay for that. And Tariq was like, I need your help. Like, this is dire. This is important. He tells him, listen, come up with $500,000 and I'll see what I can do for you. Now, he doesn't believe Tariq can come up with this money. But, of course, Tariq has a plan. So, he decides that he's going to go back to his grandmama's house and peel through all of the stuff that Tasha had moved there, including everything from the daycare. And so, he's going through and he's looking for, something specific. Really, he's looking for the name of the dancer that was able to sell dope in the club for his mom. And so in the meantime, his mom calls his grandmother, and his grandmother, is insisting that he move in, and insisting that he leave school and come. And he was like, finishing school is the only way I'm gonna be able to see about you. It's the only way I'm gonna be able to see about Yaz, and it's the only way I'm gonna be able to see about mom. Let's let it go. And so, like I said, Tasha calls there, and she wants to talk to Rick. And he excuses himself in front of his grandmother. And his grandmother was like, what can't you say in front of me that you gonna say in front of the guards? Because they listening in on the phone. And so he goes upstairs and he tries to talk to her. He asks her why she fired the attorney. And they can't really talk good. She says she got a public defender, she'll be fine. Well, like I said, he does get the information that he wants, which is the dancer's name. And while he's reading this book that he's got to do the verbal test on, he's waiting outside the strip club for the dancer to come in. She recognizes him, and he tells her he wants to set up the same deal his mama had with her. And she said, fine, give me the product, and I can push this weight for you and make this little extra money. And so then when he gets back to his old room, he sees his friend from the boarding school he was in. It's this white guy, he's goofy. He comes from a wealthy family. His family owns 2 buildings at Stansfield. So he's in at Stansfield. I can already see right now he gonna get on my nerves. But he decides that he thinks they're going to be roommates, and Tariq was like, no, I'm about my business. I don't have time to be roommates with you. I don't have time to be hooked up with you and be, poo-poo playing. Like, I'm a grown man. I'm doing grown things right now. He want to know where Effie is. Well, y'all know who Effie is. Effie is the one that switched Tariq's pills out. She took the pills he had hidden, and she replaced them with baby aspirin. So when Tariq got busted for having those pills, it turned out to be baby aspirin. It worked in his favor, so to speak, but she did steal all them pills from him. Them the pills he had to hurry up and try to re-up and get. get back, you know, the sale so he can get that money, right? Like, she put him in a bad spot, but it did kind of sort of help him out. So he goes to see her, and she's still making extra money running drugs, and he decides to take all the drugs she got on her at that time. Like, she's just done a pickup because old boy is told to read where she is. She's just done a pickup, and he takes them. And she was like, "You're not going to pay for those?" He was like, "Oh, no, we're going to call it even." When they was talking, he was like, "You just playing me out." She was like, "No, no, no, no. Not the part about me having feelings for you. But, I mean, you stole from him, so technically we can't trust anything you say, but okay." So that's Effie. She goes and and does a verbal test. He goes and he does the verbal test. And he does a good job with it. He doesn't read through the entire book because he's gotten it not 24 hours earlier, and so he doesn't read it all the way through. But he is a smart kid. He's gotten a good grasp on it, and he expresses his own personal feelings about the book. And it's enough to intrigue them. They don't want to let him go through because he didn't complete the book, but at the same time, his counselor, his advisor, sort of fights for him, and the dude that is the teacher over conical studies. They used to have a thing, the counselor and the teacher. And so he also is fighting for Tariq. And so they agreed to let Tariq finish the book and come back and do the test again, right? And Tariq also gets to meet Zeke, his new roommate, and the guy he's gonna be tutoring. And he walks into the room, and the dude is screwing. It was awful. It was awful. Like, just the lack of respect for girls that they have for themselves and their dudes have for them. It's just it was. Anyway, we see where Tasha's got her public defender. The deal is off the table. They know now that they've got the ballistics report back, autopsy. The person that shot James St. Patrick was no more than 5'6" tall in stature. I was like, oh, Tariq is a little fella, right? I think I'm 5'6". Anyway, so the deal is off, and they're gonna give her 15 years without a name. She has to give them the name of the person that helped her, and she is like, no way, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And they were like, well, if you don't do it, you're gonna get 15 years, and we're gonna see to it. And so she says, Andre Coleman. Lord, you just lying to be lying. Then we get to see Cooper. And the Democrats, Cooper is now like what do you call it? The attorney general or something like that. Like, he's the attorney over all the attorneys, whatever that is. Assistant, I don't know. Anyway, so we see where the Democrats lawyer come with the Asian guy. I can't think of his name either. They in his office waiting on him. Now, he's gotten this sweet job after being fired and all of this. Remember now, Tariq knows that he was there to kill James St. Patrick himself. And so he knows that Stacks was there, one of the people that was coming to kill James. And they want him to take the case as a federal case so that they can control the narrative of what is being said about James St. Patrick, who they endorsed before he died. They really, really want Tasha to take the full blame for it, and it sort of cleans James's name up. But Cooper, Stacks, has already made this deal with Tariq that he's gonna help his mama out. That's who got Tasha the lawyer, and that's who got Tasha the sweet Jill. Was Cooper trying to make up for the fact, or trying to sort of appease Tariq for the information that he knows. And so we see where Sax goes to dinner with his family, and they're having this huge dinner for him, which it was really like torture for him because apparently they call him Nancy. Apparently he's the black sheep of the family because of how his career has gone and everything, and his brother's a jerk and a butthole, and he's got this bar that he's got to reach in order to be respected around his siblings and his parents. And it's this whole thing. We see that he's got a lot to lose in this situation. Basically, we get to see where Tariq goes to meet Zeke's family, and it's not his mama and daddy. He ended up somehow growing up and being raised by his aunt, who is played by Mary J. Blige. So, and we get to meet his cousins. Now, he's got a female cousin who's got an eye for Tariq. And we also get to meet a male cousin named Kane. Now, Kane and his female cousin are the only two children of Aunt Mary J. Blige. And Aunt Mary J. Blige's husband, who is Puerto Rican, is in jail. He has gone away to jail because he was a bit of a kingpin himself, and he got pinched. And now we have Aunt Mary J. running the whole tribe. Like, she's everything I wanted Tasha to be. She is beautiful and stylish, which Tasha was, but she is also ruthless, and I really wanted to see more ruthlessness from Tasha. All we get in this episode from Tasha, we didn't really get it in Original Power either, but all we getting from Tasha in this whole episode is scary eyes, worry eyes, scary eyes, worry eyes. Like, anyway, so Kane and the female cousin, I can't think of her name either, they are half Puerto Rican, half black. Now, Tariq had to use the bathroom and it's a huge party. She one of them aunts. She one of those type of people that it's all the food you can eat, it's all the drink you can eat, it's like set out, and it's really, really, really to big up Zeke and shout him out for getting into the college. Well, Tariq has to use the bathroom. He goes in the bathroom and he finds Kane, the male cousin, in the bathroom getting that Georgia Dome from a chick. He goes back out. He goes out. Zeke is like, the real party's out back. They go out back together, and he meets a dude that's got like a blunt or cigarello or something behind his ear, and he meets Tariq. They shake hands. I forget who Zeke said the dude was, but when Tariq walked by, the dude's face just dropped. Like, so I got a sneaky suspicion that this dude was supposed to be Zeke's number two man or wing man, and for whatever reason, Tariq's holding that spot at this time. So then he gets to meet the cousin, and he was like, yeah, it was time I tried to use the bathroom with some crazy stuff going on in the bathroom. I'm like, Tariq, why are you talking about that? You don't know these people. You don't know these people. And stop walking in places and you don't knock first. Stop doing that. So we see where Kane come out, and it's another dude out that is looking for the girlfriend that was giving Kane the Georgia Dome. And it's this scuffle. It's this push back and forth. Why you ask me where your girlfriend? I don't know where your girlfriend is. And then here she come out of the bathroom like, right? And the dude is like, you been messing with my girl? And he was like, here come Aunt Mary J. Blige out there outside, and it's finna be like a scuffle, like a shoving match. Like, it's finna go down. Everybody's like froze, right? And Aunt Mary J. Blige come out. She sent Zeke inside, and Zeke was like, "Nah, I want him." She was like, "No, you go inside. You too important to this family." He don't even argue. He go on inside. And so then she tells old boy, he got to go. You got to leave. That's fine. I'll leave. That's no problem. And he tell his girl, come on, let's go. And she was like, I'm staying. And he was like, that's fine. That's fine. He goes on. Okay. And she tells him, you already know what it is. Kane said, yeah, he be back. And when he come back, he gonna have something. And she said, and you know exactly what to do. So, that's when we get to see the young cousin who got an eye for Tariq. Every young girl that meet Tariq think he cute and got an eye for him. Effie, the new girl Lauren, and now this chick. And she talks about her family and kind of what they into. He peeping all the pictures. He peeping the setup. He peeping the neighborhood they in, juxtaposed to how nice their house is, how nice the cars are, how nice the setup is. And he peeping game. Like, he know her daddy went to jail for something illegal, and he peeping the game. You know, he doing some assessing. Y'all know how Tariq is. And then we get to see where Stacks and T-Wash, Tamika, are meeting at Tamika's house, and he tries to tell her this hypothetical story, and she figures it all out. You mean to tell me you went to kill James St. Patrick? You mean to tell me you was there? I don't need to hear none of this. If I get called before a judge, I'm gonna have to tell what happened. And he was like, but it's all hypothetical. She was like, you got to get out of here now. I don't want no parts of you, Tariq, or Tasha. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want no parts of him. And she tells him to get out, and he is just like, come on, I need you. She said, I don't know you, and gets him to the door, and he was like, listen, I just need you. She said, I don't know you. Boom, push him on out and close the door. Don't call me no more. Don't come ever come back around me. I never heard this conversation. Goodbye. Then we get to see where Tariq is down at the strip club, like I said, and he's with his room, you know, the old roommate from the white guy from boarding school, and the white guy's down there trying to spend his mama money, trying to use credit cards. He there to bring the drugs that he got from Effie to give to the dancer chick. You know, getting this ball rolling, he got to get this $500,000 up. So then we see Tasha in jail, and she on the floor. I don't know why she ain't in the bed, but she on the floor in the jail, and she crying, worried eyes, sad eyes, crying eyes. You get to see where Auntie Mary and Kane are up first thing in the morning, and we get to see where Kane is coming down the set of the stairs, and the dude that he was fighting with was coming up the stairs from the other side, because see, the dude did come back with a gun. And this time they in the front of the house and not in the back of the house. And when the dude pulls up and he got the gun, and Auntie Mary was like, you need to go home and take that somewhere else. Don't bring that around here. You're going too far. And he was like, nah, I got a score to settle. And where is Kane? Where is Kane? And she said, you know where he is, right behind you. And Kane got one of them sawed off shotguns, and he got it pointing dead at your head. And at the same time, whoop, 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 we hear the police pull up. Police pull up and get out, and it looks like a Puerto Rican fella. He knows him. Evidently, he cased the house for maybe her husband, Lorenzo, who is a Puerto Rican, full-on Puerto Rican. Like, that's what this is. And he's security, right? And so, everything okay? And she said, go on home, son. Get away from here. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then we see Kane kind of get his scowl look when he see his mama with the cop, the police officer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. And so I was like, ooh, this gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I got a feeling this gonna be good. Y'all know I like ruthlessness. I enjoy ruthlessness as entertainment. And so then we get to see Mary and Kane, and they out first thing in the morning. She in the car. He coming in. It looks like he walking through this man's building. He coming down the stairs as the man coming up the stairs going to his apartment, and he shooting point blank, bam, in the chest. Okay, and then walk up and shoot him right in the mouth. Then goes downstairs and gets in the car with Auntie Mary. And when he gets in the car, she was like, it's done. He was like, it's done. And she took a piece of towel and wiped some blood he had on his neck there, and they drive on off like no problem, like it's just another day, like this just Tuesday, right? So then we see where Tariq is not only doing accelerated classes for himself, but he's doing all of Zeke's classes too. Like all of Zeke's work as well. His papers, his homework, everything. He's also running drugs and hoes, and he still has time for coffee. He going to meet Lauren for coffee. And Lauren is trying to do just a little bit more of this sort of counseling, making sure he on the right track. Milgram sent her there to talk with him and to console him and just make sure he's doing what's right. You know, they have all co-signed on Tariq. So everybody's kind of sort of invested in Tariq succeeding in this situation. And people like Tariq. People like Tariq. He's charming. He's smart. He's well read. He's likable. So when they meet for coffee, she basically tells him, you know, that he didn't finish the book. He needs to finish the book. And he starts just expressing his feelings about the book. And she was like, this is what you need to go before them and tell them. This is what you need to tell them. He was like, they don't want to hear that. She was like, just do it. So she goes to the bathroom. And when she goes to the bathroom, somehow Cooper Stacks knows where he's having coffee at. It kind of looked like the same place that his daddy and what's the chick he used to, Angela, used to mess with, used to meet for coffee. He knocking on the window and they go outside around the side of the building and they talking. And he tells Stacks, I don't give a crap what's going on. You supposed to help my mama. If you're not going to help my mama, I'm going to tell everybody that you was there to kill my daddy. And Stacks is like, no, you just got to hear me out. He was like, no, I'm just letting you know. You know, I'm working as a prosecutor, and he's working with the prosecutor. He's got answers, and then, you know, that person is giving him the intel on what's going on. And he said he's trying not to be implicated at the same time. And Tariq is all about getting Tasha out. He don't want to hear all that. So then we see where Tariq uses Zeke's phone to post the Instagram message. And he does this because Zeke has thousands of followers. And so when he does this, he thanks he thanks the Method Man, the guy, the attorney who played by Method Man. He thanks him for taking on his case and all of that. And so the dude is standing on the pier getting coffee, and he's getting all of these alerts because everybody was like, it's cool, you the best, we love you, and you the best attorney ever. If I've got in trouble, you could be my attorney. Like, he's getting thousands of followers and subscribers because of the message that Tariq posted. What it kind of put his back against the wall, where he kind of had to take the case at this point. And so then we see where Tariq goes and meets the lawyer played by Method Man, and he is just like, you know what, you good, but you ain't got my money. And Tariq gives him the money. Now, I don't know if he gave him the whole 500 or he just gave him like 250, because the dude agreed to take Tasha's case, and he was like, this is just gonna get you like a week's worth, right? So Tariq, he wants Tariq to tell him everything. Tariq tells him to tell my mom, okay, when you go see my mom, tell my mom that she doesn't need to do this. She needs to tell the truth, and it's not going to be a problem if she tells the truth about who really helped her. Okay, so we see where the lawyer goes to see Tasha, and she was like, man, my son really got you. He was like, yeah, I don't know whether to thank you or to report you because he's like a diabolical genius. And she was like, yeah, that's my baby. And then so he tells her, we got to be honest about what's going on. She was like, Andre called me. He was like, no, that has been proven. That he didn't have any GSR on his clothes, and they picked him up directly outside of the building. He didn't even have time to change clothes. Like, you line upon line upon line, it's making it worse. And then he tells her what Tariq told him to tell her, and she was like, are you sure that's what he said? And he was like, yes ma'am, I'm sure. So we see Tasha in court. They've agreed to give her 3 years probation, which is a better deal than what Tamika got her. And All she has to do is go through the allocution and say, this is what's going on. Now, Stacks had already turned down the Democratic lawyer, um, turned him down for making the case federal. He was going to keep it with the locals because that was the best way to squash it. But now, here it is being squashed, except instead of Tasha doing what Tariq told her, tell the truth, because evidently he had something in place, Tasha stands up there and she says that she didn't commit the murder, it was Tommy Egan. Everybody was like, what is you talking about, Tommy Egan? And she was like, yeah, it was Tommy Egan. And so the prosecutor says, why would he do that? Why would Tommy Egan do that? And she said, because I asked him to. Well, the Democratic lawyer is sitting right next to Stacks, and he tells him, this is it. This is where she messed up. It becomes a RICO case at this point. We need her as a witness to testify against Tommy Egan. Gives Stacks the paperwork. Stacks walks up to the prosecutor, and the judge is like, wait a minute, are you supposed to be testifying? And he was like, no, but she gonna tell you what's going on when I get her this paperwork. She reads the paperwork and she says, this is the prosecutor. We have decided to drop the case against Tasha St. Patrick, Green St. Patrick. And everybody and the Method Man lawyer was like, no, we had a deal on the table, but Tasha's mucked it up. This is what Tasha is doing. She's mucking everything up. She's the official mucker upper. Now that we don't get to see Tommy, she's the official mucker upper, right? And so the case is dropped, is done. The minute the case is dropped and done, instead of Tasha being free to go, Stack says, you are being arrested, under federal ordinance, yada, 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 and for murder. What? And everybody's like, no, absolutely not. And she was like, federal murder? What are you talking about? Now, instead of being in local jail, you finna go to federal jail. You finna do your time in federal jail, right? Like, you finna wait in federal jail for all of this stuff to be played out. You was about to go home, but you so busy trying to be smart, Tasha. What? I just don't even get it. Like, how is James able to conduct so much business behind bars, and you can't even talk to your son in code enough to let him know for y'all to work a plan out? Like, I don't get it. I don't really get it. But y'all know I done had a problem with weak Tasha for quite some time now. So, of course, the Method Man lawyer, he don't want to have nothing to do with this. They hauled Tasha out, and Tariq is like, no, you need to help my mom. And he was like, nah, you done got me in over my head, like way over my head with this. And he was like, nah, you gonna help my mama. Why should I help your mama? Because helping my mama get off will make you the greatest lawyer in the city of New York. And I know you want to take it to them federal a-holes. And he thought about it a little bit. He was like, yeah, this is gonna benefit me. It's to help them, but in the long run, I'm going to blow up Shuaid. Like, blow up Shuaid. It's going to help his record, prosecution record, or whatever you call it. So, so we get to see that moment, and then, we get to see where Tariq, is looking up some information. Now, he's supposed to be working on the paper for Zeke, and he's supposed to be working on his own paper. We get to see where he's already aced the verbal test. Like, when he came and told his feelings and did all that, everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was great, and he got accepted into the program. So he's working on that. He's working on Zeke's paper, but he ain't got time to do it all because he looking up Lorenzo, which is Zeke's uncle, which is the aunt, Mary J. Blige's husband, who is in jail. And he is learning a whole lot about him. Like, he ain't just no little small-time criminal. Like, he's a big-time kingpin. And Tariq is trying to figure out how he can make this work for himself. And the episode goes off. Listen, I think it's going to be good, you guys. I think it's going to be good. Have you guys seen it? Tell me what you think. Put it down below. I find Tariq mildly likable, especially with Ghost being gone. Like, not having that character to bounce off of and standing kind of on his own. I find him to be mildly likable. things are still at this really accelerated place where they're not really fully explaining things, and you kind of have to put the closed caption on so you can figure it all out. How the storylines are being kind of really weird. But for the most part, this first episode of this book 2 is pretty good. You guys tell me what you think. Put it down below. And until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love.